Namaskar, and today we will have a deliberation on new education policy, Bhartiya Gyan Parampara, that is also called Indian knowledge system in English. So, national education policy talks about Bhartiya Gyan Parampara, Indian knowledge system, and before we go into that issue and a discussion for about next half an hour, let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Pawan Kumar Singh. I am presently working as Director of Indian Institute of Management, Tiruchirappalli, and I have background in the field of human side of management. For about 33 years, I am in academics. I have served in almost all systems of higher educational institutions, including state universities at Gyan and Kanpur, Central University at Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi. I have worked also at a national institute, that is National Institute of Industrial Engineering at Mumbai, and then I joined Indian Institute of Management, Indore, as a professor. I have also served as the Director of Management Development Institute, Gurgaon, and I was academic chair of the first committee of Indian Institute of Management, Sambalpur. So this is my journey, but most importantly, I am a learner, I am a student and a professor in the field of organizational behavior and human resource management. I have been working for last 20 years in the field of Indian knowledge system, scriptures and interpretation of Sanskrit scriptures for managerial uses. So let us begin this topic, new education policy that talks about Indian knowledge system, Bhartiya Gyan Parampara. We would like to see in brief that what national education policy says about Bhartiya Gyan Parampara, and then we will see exactly what is Bhartiya Gyan Parampara, because purpose of this video, this interaction with you is that in turn you should be able to actually convince and interact with larger audience that how Bhartiya Gyan Parampara and its spirit can be embedded into our education system, how Bhartiya Gyan Parampara can be intertwined with whatever subject you are dealing. You may be dealing with science or art or social science, humanities or agriculture or medicine or engineering. So these all issues will be a very joyful journey for all of us, let us say in next 25 minutes or so. So national education policy is emphasizing that our final product of educational system, allow me to use the word product, that final product, that is a student, set of students, they should be emerged, they should be emerging after the education system as a wholesome personality, very, very deeper into their own subject knowledge, highly useful for society, very sensitive to the issues around them, and they should prove themselves as asset for the nation. So national education policy, it emphasizes that basic values of human beings, which is called human values, and values means conviction. So basic human values which are time-tested characteristics, for example, this is, say, righteousness is a value, honesty is a value, commitment to satya, nishtha, satya that is truth, nishtha means commitment, commitment to nation, commitment to even cause of humanity across the globe, or commitment to your state, your institution, your neighborhood, your family, commitment to yourself. All these basic values must be embedded naturally in our final product, and that is students. But before students learn all these values, we professors, teachers, need to remind ourselves about the Indian knowledge system, Bhartiya Gyan Parampara. So national education policy says that these all knowledge system which was from time immemorial in India, in Indian knowledge system of ancient time, was naturally embedded. We have to actually start looking the merit of those aspects and should try to reinvent those methodologies, those content, and should bring the best part of that in contemporary education system. So we need to understand Indian knowledge system. We need to understand the contextual implication and its implementability. On these issues, I would like to talk about. See, when we talk about Indian knowledge system, first of all, I will remind my fellow colleagues who are listening this video that you see what happens. You may be a professor of physics or professor of political science or professor of management or faculty of Hindi or English. What happens? You enter in the class after doing some other job. You were engaged into something else. Suddenly you enter in the class. Students are engaged in something else. They are rushing into the class. And with that emotion which was affecting them or influencing them 5 minutes back, with that emotion they start learning a subject in a classroom. Professor, the kind of emotion he or she was carrying just 5 minutes back, 2 minutes back, with that he or she is coming, and with that emotion starts teaching. The first and very, very primary, but very, very, let us say, priceless lesson that I am trying to submit to you for your consideration and application in your life, that in earlier days, according to Indian knowledge system, according to Bhartiya Gyan Parampara, before the dissemination of knowledge would start, the faculty, the guru, the acharya, the teacher used to invite students to a 2 or 3 minutes episodes of maintaining silence, closing the eyes, let breath get settled, because settled breath is the right kind of field on which you can sow the seed of your germination of knowledge. So, before classes would begin, according to Bhartiya Gyan Parampara, we used to practice silence, or we used to chant some, let us say, profound mantra. For example, there are many mantras which have been used as invocation part of various Upanishads. For example, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Bhakasyat Dukkha Bhag Bhaved, chanting, 2 minutes silence, then chemistry can start, botany can start, or the chanting can be Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu, Sahviryam Karvavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We should know the meaning of this invocation. You can easily find in the literature. I am not giving you meaning here because we have many things to talk in this video. But what I am trying to actually impress upon is before we enter from one episode to another episode, we should create a moment of silence or prayerfulness so that we enter the new episode with fresh blood, with fresh, let us say, psychological mood, with great enthusiasm. Because wise people, they allow their positive emotion earned from previous episode to influence the new episode, and wise people do not allow any negative emotion impacting their previous episode on the new episode. And that's why, to be more wise for the new episodic task, we should be better prepared. This is just an example. Indian knowledge system, Bhartiya Gyan Parampara, always believed in creating a complete human being. Complete human being means what? You see, any student who has started the study, education, from say nursery, KG, class 1, class 2, 3 years graduation, 4 years graduation, master degree, PhD. So journey from, let us say, nursery to PhD. Indian knowledge system emphasizes on wholesome development of personality. But during this journey, a particular student would specialize only in one subject, let us say. If you are specialized in medicine, and within medicine so many specialization, you cannot say that I am also engineer. though you may be knowing some machinery here and there, but doctors, MBBS, MD, PhD in medicine, they are into one field of medicine. Engineers are into their own fields of the branch, one particular branch of the engineering. If you have studied social science up to that level, then you are PhD in political science, or at least MA in political science. Now, a political science master degree holder cannot claim that I am also master of chemistry, maybe knowing something of chemistry. Point is being emphasized here is that first target is that when you are studying a subject for longer duration, you have to develop one specialization. MSc chemistry is one specialization. I'm not talking about specialization from research angle, but from subject angle. MSc chemistry, MSc botany, MSc physics, MSc or MA mathematics, or MA sociology, or MA home science, whatever. This knowledge must be at the deepest level possible. Means there must be a world level, let us say, discourse on that subject, so that India or Indians, when they study about a subject, must be at par with the world level knowledge in that particular subject, whatever subject you are studying. But there has to be development of integrated personality, wholesome personality. Now, what is this? You see, the bifurcation or the mind which divides has to go away, and the approach or mind or system that integrates has to be invited. So, though I am doing, let us say, MA in Hindi, but I must have certain scientific pursuit. And though I am doing MSc in physics, I must have some social science orientation. Take for example, one of the greatest scientists the world has produced, Albert Einstein. At his fag end of life, he talks like sociologist, he talks like philosopher, he talks like use of science, not simply inventing something, some machinery or some sutra or formula, or E is equal to MC square. He is not talking that now. He is talking about the use and misuse of science. That's why those professors or those students who are into the science stream, which we call as science stream, everything is science, but so-called science stream, physics, chemistry, mathematics, botany, zoology, geology, must have artistic heart. And those who are into social science and social science, and those who are in social science and humanities, they must have scientific approach. So distinction between science and art has to go away. Similarly, academic program versus vernacular or let us say or academic programs and say trade related skills education, a kind of distinction we have created has to go away, because we have divided education in many ways, and that is not serving the purpose. We should rather unite. So science and art dichotomy has to go away. Education versus vocational study has to go away. English versus vernacular has to go away, because we have to become multilinguistic also, so that we are able to learn a language which is worldwide accepted, learn a language which in most of the part of the country is accepted, learn a language to be effective in a particular state in which I am living, and maybe we should learn a language which is Devvani, Devbhasha, Sanskrit, which is mother of many languages. We should try to learn 2 languages, 3 languages, possibly 4 languages, because more we learn, more we are able to integrate. So, Indian knowledge system does not know dividing, it knows integrating. So, as I see, knowledge as such, irrespective of any stream we are talking about, knowledge itself is a big lake, big pool, brimming with water. थोड़ी सी मैं आपको हिंदी में बता दूं, ये जो ज्ञान है, चाहे वो किसी स्रोत से आ रहा हो, वो एक झील की तरह है, ज्ञान, ज्ञान की झील, और पानी वहां लबालब भरा हुआ है. द लेक ऑफ नॉलेज इज ब्रिमिंग विथ वाटर. देयर इज नो डेप्थ ऑफ वाटर, पानी की कमी नहीं है. एंड देयर आर मेनी घाट्स on which you can take bath or you can collect water. One ghat is known as physics, other ghat is known as chemistry, other ghat is known as sociology, other ghat is known as history. It is like that. So, say if you read a subject that is science with a heart of sociology, you'd also like to know that how this particular invention will have sociometric, let us say, dimension, or how it will actually influence humanity. Because after all, you are a scientist to serve the cause of humanity, or serve the cause of the world, or you are a social scientist or humanity expert for the cause of humanity only. In 14th century, the Adi Kavi of Bengali, Chandidas, had said, সবার উপরে মানুষত্ব, তাহার উপরে নাহি. It is a Bengali proverb, statement given by Chandidas in 14th century. It means that the cause of humanity is above everything. Nothing is above that. So ultimately, whether we learn or teach physics, or we learn or teach, say, botany, or we learn or teach political science, or we learn or teach management, ultimate purpose is service to humanity. So this is very important dimension of Bhartiya Gyan Parampara, Indian knowledge system. The second characteristics of Indian knowledge system is that knowledge should be available to everyone. Now you see, of course, we should follow the rules of copyright, or no plagiarism policy, zero tolerance for plagiarism. We should all follow. Whenever we take knowledge from somebody else's piece, we should refer. But you see, in Indian knowledge system, greatest of the greatest writers, authors, they even did not like to put their name as author. Nobody knows who is the author of Vedas or Upanishads. Vedas have been compiled and disseminated by Ved Vyas in the beginning. Nobody knows the author of a particular Upanishad, because Upanishads generally are parts or one of the chapters of a particular Veda. It's, let us say, it may be it's part of Samhita or Aranyak. So there was a free flow of knowledge. Now, when you see today the Indian diaspora, we have 8th schedule of constitution. There are 22 languages in that schedule which are recognized till date by Indian constitution. Apart from those 22 languages scheduled in 8th schedule of constitution, there are many other languages which have their own literature. Apart from all these, there are many colloquial languages which are spoken languages, and they are confined to a particular region. There are languages which are actually used in oral communication only, and literature is not much developed, but they are facing the danger of getting extinct, endangered languages. India is also losing many languages. So, in today's context, NAP is also saying, which is parallel to Indian knowledge system Bhartiya Gyan Parampara, that we should respect all languages. That is the beginning point. But then we should try to understand to some extent multi-languages. What is the best available in which language? For example, English, which is accepted language in India and major part of the world, and the most connecting language of the world. English is a wonderful language, and I think everyone should know English so that it is conducive to feel like world citizen if you know the language which is mostly used by the world. But Indian knowledge system or any country-oriented knowledge system would emphasize know your own languages also. Know Hindi. In any part of the country you live, knowing Hindi will benefit anyone. Know Hindi, please. It is not getting imposed or being imposed. But you not knowing, you will invite certain kind of limitations upon yourselves only. And when you learn Hindi, it is a wonderful language, either the prose part or poetry part. If you see the prose part, there have been great novels, there have been story books, there have been this drama books in Hindi, there have been short story books in Hindi, there have been Sanskrit translation of various popular story-oriented books of Sanskrit like Panchatantra or Katha Sarit Sagar or Hitopdesh. They are available in Hindi. Enjoy that. And if you go to the poetry part of Hindi, wonderful poets, they have contributed to the language of Hindi. And you belong to any state, try learning and you will find that poetry is giving you a scintillation. It is charging you with energy and pride for your own country. There have been many great poets. Now, poets like, let us say, Malik Muhammad Jaisi in Hindi, or contemporaries were like Kabir or Tulsi or Ras Khan or Rahim. Later on, we find great poets under various systems of literature development like Ritukal or Chayavad. So we have Sumitra Nandan Pant, we have Jayashankar Prasad, we have Surikant Tripathi Nirala, we have Mahadev Verma, we have Ramdhari Singh Dinkar, we have Maithili Sharan Gupt, we have Subhadra Kumari Chauhan. Read, know. And if you want to know, let us say, some literature which are basically oriented towards present Punjab, that is in the part of the country, or there was one integrated Punjab, some portion went to Pakistan. In that area also, Punjabi literature flourished. Try to know about, let us say, what is the writing of Farid, what is the writing of Bulle Shah. Then see in Rajasthan area, many Sufi saints, they gave their literature and they were Rahasyavadi. They wrote about, let us say, Supreme Lord or Supreme Power, like Dadu from Rajasthan was very popular. Or when you go to Gujarat, we should try to know what Narsi Mehta is saying. If we go to Maharashtra, see that what Guru Ramdas has said. If you go to Karnataka, please see what poet, great poet, saint poet Purandar Das had to say. If you go to Tamil Nadu, in Tamil, Tirukkural was written by Tiruvalluvar. Enjoy it. If you go to Andhra Pradesh, enjoy the literature of Vemana. If you come to Bengal, so many poets are there. Odisha. In Bengal, we had Rabindranath Tagore. We had Kazi Nazrul Islam. We had literature like Raj Tarangini. So, or if you go to eight sisters, if you go to seven sisters of Northeast, there have been many literature, short stories, and these stories are very heart-touching. Uttar Pradesh, of course, Bihar, so many poets came. Uttar Pradesh has been place of poets in Hindi. In Bihar, we had Maithili poet, very popular there. And then if you come to Madhya Pradesh, there have been many poets in that area, especially from Hoshangabad area and other areas. So, India has so many rich languages. It will be not possible for us to know all the languages. But national education policy is also emphasizing on rejuvenating the literature of India by providing translation supports. And through these translation support, we will be able to know in our own language, which I know, about the contribution of multi-languages which are existing in India. So, what I'm trying to say as the second point, the first point was have respect for all subjects. Second point is that have respect for India through so many approaches, and one approach is that know your languages. We are custodian of many languages. So that is number 2. Number 3, that Indian knowledge system, how it can be imbibed in our education system so that faculty, institution, society, especially students, they get the best of the best knowledge in their own area of specialization embedded with Indian knowledge system, Bhartiya Gyan Parampara. Say for example, when we take mathematics, India was advanced in mathematics. Astronomy, there is Indian system of astronomy which is highly scientific. There is subject like botany. In field of botany, we have actually one Veda, Upaveda, that is Ayurveda, which is basically exploration of the field of botany and knowing various kinds of vanaspati and their implication, medicinal implications. So whatever specialization you have, Indian knowledge system can be embedded irrespective of whatever subject you are teaching as a professor or whatever subject a student is studying at any level. So I would suggest, this is just a proposal for your consideration, that Indian knowledge system can be embedded in our education right from beginning, education meant for children up to education meant for, let us say, PhD level degree. How it can be done? See, during class 1, 2, 3, up to class 3 in schooling, because schooling we cannot ignore if we are only dealing, even though we are getting salary out of working into higher education system, we should not lose the sight of schooling. In class 1, 2, 3, bring the best of the stories being shared in our literature, which have developed from our own original sources. Even research findings in psychology say that the kind of stories you share with your children in your childhood actually impacts also the economic health of the nation. So those nations which share very, very relevant stories with children, which gives the sense of achievement to the children, which gives, let us say, fulfillment towards task or fulfillment of living by accomplishing the task, the nation which shares such stories, actually their per capita electricity consumption and per capita national income is higher. So the type of stories that schooling nation is studying impacts the economic indicators of nation. Let us share in class 1, 2, 3. When a student has gone to class 5, 6, 7, etc., let them have the best of the best maxims available in our literature. Just for your knowledge, and many of you may be knowing, Veda is 1, not 4, but 4 parts were done. Because syllabus would become heavy, so Veda was quadrifurcated and each part was given to one particular disciple. So, for example, Rig Veda was given to Pail, and Sumantu was given Atharv Veda, and Jaimini was given Sam Veda, and Vaishampayan was given Yajur Veda. Veda is 1, 4 parts were done. There are 219 Upanishads available in the market. 191 easily and rest of them with a little more efforts. And there are 18 Puranas. There are great books of history. For example, Mahabharata, 1,300,000 shlokas, and Ramayana by Valmiki. Literature of Shankaracharya, and literature of Raman Maharshi, and Shukraniti or Manusmriti, or let us say Yog Vasisht. These all are precious books. 3 great stories books, as I said earlier, Panchatantra, Kathasarit Sagar, Hitopdesha, all in Sanskrit. Wonderful books. Non-Sanskrit books I'll come. Let us say Ramcharitmanas, very popular, at least in northern part of India, Ramcharitmanas. And Ramayana is popular everywhere in the country, but by different authors. And Ramcharitmanas by Tulsidas is arguably the most popular book in the Hindi belt of the country. So these books are there. There are many other books. Let us come to some other books. For example, in Islam, there are two books, Holy Quran and Hadith. And there is Zind Avesta in Zoroastrianism, Jin Sutra and Kalp Sutra, literature from, let us say, Jainism or Tripitak. And part of that, which is very popular, and that is those are words of enlightened Gautam Buddha. So these all books, and then books by many, let us say, saints and seers. We have book Guru Granth Sahib, final compilation done by the 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh Ji. And 6 Gurus Vani are there, and there are 15 saints Vani, and about 3 or 4, let us say, other servicemen who also used to write their Vani. So many things are there. So these all, if are properly studied, and their best of the best knowledge, quintessential knowledge brought into, and can be given to a student, the best of the best maxims during class 5, 6, 7, that is good, that is better. And during, say, intermediate programs or class 9th, because class 10th I would suggest you should leave them for their matriculation exam. But class 9th, they should understand about certain books, certain literature. In intermediate or first year of graduation, during that period, we should give them one full course on Indian knowledge system. Because Indian knowledge is not actually regional knowledge. It is world knowledge, world wisdom, and India is custodian. So during graduation or at the end of +2 level, they must have a full course on Indian knowledge system, whichever subject you are studying. And during post-graduation, there has to be Indian knowledge system or human values connected to your profession. For example, if somebody is doing MD, so Indian knowledge system and human values for doctors. If you are doing engineering or let us say MTech, then Indian knowledge system and engineering, pursuit of engineering in Indian knowledge system. In this way, we can create embedded Indian knowledge system inputs at various stages of education, and in that course, basically, we would be able to make best use of Indian knowledge system and create this nation full of integrated personality who have got multidisciplinary knowledge, who are actually meditated within, rather agitated outside. So with this, there is a time limit. So with this, I would wish that first of all, we should invest ourselves in knowing Indian knowledge system, creating repository, using translation mechanism, and then convincing our nation, young people, students who are actually, whose personality depends on what we teach them. And with this, I wish you the best. May God charge us with energy to understand the deeper repository of Indian knowledge system. Thank you very much. God bless us all. Thank you. Namaskar.